Hey guys, Darkovika here, and today's vlog is going to be a little different. We are going to be answering some questions that were posed to me on YouTube. A lot of these questions were posed by God King R. Basically, all of them. No, this first question actually that I'm going to answer is not posed by God King R, but it has been posed to me by literally everyone who stops by to say hello on my channel, and that's that if I still watch the Yogscast. And I figured, you know what, I'll answer it in a video, and I'll still get asked the question, so there's no point to answering this in the video. It's literally like the number one question that I get asked constantly. Do you still watch the Yogscast? Or, also worded, are you still a Yognau? For those of you who don't know, Yognau is a reference to one of their very, very early podcasts way back in the day. They made a joke about Yognauts, and that was what they were going to call their fans. I don't know if they still talk about it, but basically, I don't remember which order it is, but depending on how you spell Yognau is who you're a fan of. So if you spell it with GH, I think you were a fan of Lewis, and if you don't use GH, then you're a fan of Simon. So if it's Yog, N-A-U-T, you're Simon, and if it's N-A-G-H, N-A-U-G-H-T, you're Lewis. It's probably backwards. It's probably the other way around. It's been a long time. But yeah, it was a part of the Hey Yogscast song, so it was a reference. And long story short, yes, I do still watch the Yogscast, and I do consider myself a Yognau still. I don't watch as often as I used to when I was a lot younger. These days, I tend to, stretch my views out between different channels, and I watch a lot of different YouTubers, and I just sort of, I'm all over the place also. I just thought I'd share in this very adorable, very adorable experience. But yeah, so I kind of, I stretch out my views between a lot of different YouTubers, and every now and then I do return to the Yogscast, and they still crack me up a ton. So I do still consider myself a Yognau. I do support them a ton, and I love what they're doing with their channel, and I'm really happy they just, they sold out all their tickets for YogCon, which was really cool. And yeah, I still consider myself a Yognau. The second question that I have to answer was about actually the rings that I used to wear all the time. I used to wear specifically 4 rings, sometimes more. It's typically just 4 of them. I would showcase them, but they're currently not on me or near me. They're actually in my jewelry box, which is elsewhere for safekeeping. So yeah, that's why I don't have them on me, and I therefore cannot show them off to you. Boo-hoo. Sorry. But yeah, one of them is actually, it's really weird. One of them means absolutely nothing. It's a ring that says like peace and love or something like that. And, it basically, it was like a stainless steel ring that I got literally at like a yard sale for like $0.25. But it was stainless steel, and I actually really like specifically rings that are just a band, because I can keep them on me and never take them off. Anything that typically has a stone, a really big stone, I can't sleep with them on. I can't keep them on during regular activities. Like, they just bug the heck out of me. I am actually really lucky in that my engagement ring is perfect. Like, this is basically the height that I can do with stones, because it does not impede, like, I can't feel it with my other fingers. Like, I can't stand anything that's so big that my other fingers can feel it. This is not like that. It's not heavy. It's not big. I can sleep with it on. I can do anything with it. That's, to me, like the perfect band. So that ring in particular is just a stainless steel ring. It is, I don't know. I wore it literally since high school. So I think it just means something because I've always had it. But otherwise, no, it has zero meaning. The other 2 rings that I wore, one was my high school ring, my high school graduation ring. It is an interesting ring, and I wish I could show these off because they're really interesting looking. Maybe I'll do another video and I'll show these. But my high school ring it was supposed to be an amethyst. I don't know what it is, but it ain't no amethyst. It is like, in certain lighting, it looks green. In other lighting, it looks purple. And in some lighting, it looks gray. It has no color. And it's really interesting. It has my school mascot on it, and it has a marching band on it, because I was a massive band geek. Like, I lived and died for marching band. I kept going back to my high school after I graduated to help out with the marching band. That's how much of a band geek I was. Okay, like hardcore. It was all I did. But yeah, I had marching band on there, and I had the school mascot and the name of the school and the name of my name, the name of me. And then my other ring that I wore all the time was actually I was wrong. It's 3 rings that I used to wear all the time. The other ring is my college graduate ring. And my parents bought that for me too, to celebrate my graduation. I had lamented over not being able to afford one because I really wanted one, and I couldn't buy myself one. And my parents surprised me with my graduation ring, and I was really, really like touched and super glad that they bought it for me. Like I was so happy that I got it. And that one's it just has the school written all over it. It's not as what's the word I'm looking for? As I'd have to look at it again. It's actually been a little while since I've worn it. The reason I don't wear all of those rings actually is just because I have an engagement ring and I wanted it to stand out a lot more, and wearing my usual array of rings kind of took away from it. And I just to kind of, this is the only ring that I can really showcase. I'm going to see if I can block my face so it doesn't focus on me, and I can't really touch the phone to make it focus on the ring. But this is my engagement ring. And obviously that ring means a lot to me. So I like to showcase that one over the other ones because, I don't know, I'm engaged. I like being engaged. And yeah, that's basically all that my rings mean. There's nothing really crazy. Okay, ta-da, I have moved. So the next question was, if I had to pick my favorite decade of gaming, what would it be? And I think that's actually a kind of a tough question for me. Specifically for me would probably be the PlayStation 2 era. And I don't know if that technically counts as an era. I don't really want to say like the 90s versus like the 80s. I wasn't alive in the 80s, so I can't really say that. But I think the PlayStation 2 was where I really had the most fun with gaming. And actually this is interesting for me because of the fact that, I'm sorry this is so wobbly, I don't have gear right now, so this is as good as it gets. But no, I loved that genre or that era of gaming for me because I grew up with the PlayStation 2. Like, that was my first. No, that's not true. I grew up with the Nintendo 64. That was my first system, mine, because I have an older brother. He's 13 years older than me. And so all of the consoles that I had played with before that were his. But the Nintendo 64 was officially mine. Like, that one was for me. And while I love that console, I don't really remember it as much as I remember the PlayStation 2. And I think that one is special to me because that was the first console I had as an intelligent non-child. With the Nintendo 64, I was in elementary school, and I don't really think I knew half of what I was doing in video games. Like, I was just kind of bumbling along in that. But in the PlayStation 2, that was where I really started to understand the concept of, like, video games and really branching out. Like, in the beginning, I had mostly just like Barbie games and stuff like that. And, not all of them are bad. Okay, I grew up on Barbie. She's not all bad. No, I had a lot of Barbie games, but then I started to branch out into other games because I kind of grew up on that whole like girl games mentality where if something says girl games, I kind of wanted to look at it because I was a girl, so I thought it was supposed to be something that I liked. Hint, no. But I got into Sly Cooper, I got into Kingdom Hearts, obviously, I got into Radiata Stories, which is one of the greatest RPGs I have ever played, and I got into, Elder Scrolls. I think I played Oblivion on the PS3, but, did I? Who knows? They're starting to blend into each other. I know I played a bunch of games on the PlayStation 2. I know I played Final Fantasy 12 on the... Did I? Yes, I did. I remember the case. It was PlayStation 2. I loved that game. Not everybody did. I really did. And I realized this years later. I actually had a book. So I've obviously been writing for a really long time. For anybody who's new here, I've been working on writing a book for God knows how long, pretty much my entire life. Just trying to write stories, not always the same book, but as I grew up, like, I was looking back through some of my stories that I wrote, and I had characters in a book called Amalia, and she had a brother named Rex. For those of you who know Final Fantasy 12, Amalia is the nickname of the princess, and Rex is the name of the main character's brother. And then in another book, I had a character, oh God, I don't remember. There was another book who had a name that they shared with Final Fantasy 12. And in my book recently, this was unintended. I didn't realize I did this. My main character's name is Vaughn. And I was like, oh, it's not spelled the same. It's Vaughn. And in Final Fantasy 12, the main character's name is Vaughn, Vaan. And I was like, oh, Final Fantasy 12. And I rebought it all these years later because they re-released it on like the Switch and stuff. And I bought it and it was like Vaughn. And I was like, oh my God, it's everywhere, isn't it, in my life, which is really weird. And yeah, so there you go. I just really like Final Fantasy 12 for some reason. I never beat it all though, which is really odd. I'm sorry. I know these vlogs are going to be super shaky. I kind of saw my hand twitch. I'm trying, I swear. I'll figure out a better method probably in the next cut. But yeah, no, for some reason, Final Fantasy 12 was a game that I really liked, but the grinding got to me and I never beat it. And I always wanted to. And I'm on that roll right now. Like, I'm trying to beat it right now. But yeah, so there we go. The PlayStation 2, I think, was my favorite console era. Not really an era, but hopefully you get what I mean. And yeah. These next couple questions are actually about the channel itself. I know, I figured, woo, I'm hands-free all of a sudden. I figured out a better method. No, actually, the first question was, how aware am I that this is going to be the channel's 10th birthday this year? I wasn't aware, actually, and that's crazy to me. I didn't realize that. I kept saying, like, oh, I've been doing YouTube for, like, 7 years. Apparently not. I don't know what my first video was, but the channel is about to turn 10, and that's bizarre to me, like, that the channel has existed for 10 years. So that's wild. And then the next question was, do you plan on doing anything for the channel's 10th birthday? I didn't. I actually don't even know when the birthday is, so I didn't have anything planned for it. I don't know what to do for it. I have been planning some interesting videos that are going to be short but kind of funny to look at, and I've been considering something else that God King R mentioned, was doing one video a week, which I might do depending on how I want to do it and what content that I want to do, because I've been playing with a lot of really cool ideas for the channel. And anyways, so, you know, then there's the next question, which was kind of on the same vein, was, what do you think was the best year for the channel? And that has definitely got to be Hey Yogscast year. Like, that was a wild adventure for this channel, which was, you know, releasing the song Hey Yogscast. And that was just, that whole event was really just exciting. And I'll rehash it just for fun. But, like, I didn't even send it to them. Like, the whole fact that it went viral, you know, within the Yogscast community was, for me, completely just, I didn't think it would ever, I didn't intend for it, didn't try for it. I remember I wrote Hey Yogscast in like 15 minutes. And it was right after they had released a vlog or some crazy video. It was like them being drunk or something. It was like Poopy Minecraft or something. I barely remember. And people were like, where's the next Israfel? Like, their comments were just typically on that video, just a lot more demanding than usual. And it really frustrated me. And I just kind of was like happy if they uploaded something. It didn't have to be Israfel. Like, I was just happy that they were uploading, because I really liked just their jive and how they were entertaining and stuff that they did. It didn't have to be Israfel. I was just happy to be watching some Yogscast. And I was relatively young at the time, like not the most mature human being on the planet. So I wrote a song about how annoyed I was at their comments, which is that one line in the very beginning that was like, aren't you just fed up with me? Like, that was referencing the crazy comments, which I don't think a lot of their viewers picked up on. They were like, oh, they are fed up with the singer. Nah, fam, they fed up with you. But you know what? I'm not going to say anything. So that was my petty song. Like, that song's a lot more petty than I think people realize. But anyways, I remember I wrote that song in 15 minutes. Like, that song was not meant to be anything. And I honestly think that's like the two best songs that I've ever written. I wrote in a relatively short amount of time, and they just came to me. Everything else that has ever taken time just sucks, okay? Like, I've tried. I hate everything that I write, but that's a whole other discourse. No, with Hey Yogscast, it was a fun experience because, It was something that I spent hours recording, and I do mean hours. Like, I actually sat and tried like 15 times to record it. And by record, what I mean is that I sat in front of, like I said, I was relatively young. I did not have access to recording equipment at that time. So my recording equipment was an iPhone from that time, not today's iPhone, from that time. And I had a basic understanding of acoustics and sound, so I placed it on a piano bench in a relatively enclosed space, and I angled the microphone towards me, and I put the guitar under the piano bench so that the guitar wouldn't blow out the microphone. So that what you're hearing was a slightly remastered version of that, because they literally took that off of SoundCloud, had their sound guy kind of touch it up a little bit. They added bass guitar underneath it. And that was that, as much as I remember. So that was really fun. And like, I remember just finally just being like, oh my God, I'm so over this. And I just slapped it on SoundCloud. It was not my best take. I regretted that because obviously it blew up. And I was just like, I'm done with this. I just want to upload this. I'm over it. Get out of here. And I just uploaded this horrible version of the song that I knew I could sing better. But yeah, I popped that on SoundCloud. It was just me, my guitar, an iPhone on a piano bench. Like, it was the most just slapped together song that you could ask for. And then like I left it. Like, I left my iPhone on the piano bench and I left it for several hours, and I was just like, ugh, like so over, just done, walked away, didn't come back to it. And then I was like, oh yeah, I uploaded a song, right? And I walked back to my phone, opened up SoundCloud, and I remember standing there and thinking that there had to be a glitch because it said 11,000 views. And I was like, and I was doing YouTube at this time, and like, I was used to at most 100 views, max, maybe 200 views. So I had 11,000 views on SoundCloud, and I feel bad because I actually did take it down off SoundCloud because I didn't want at the time to detract from their views on YouTube. I wanted them to get the full views, and if it was on SoundCloud, then it was up for free, and they couldn't really benefit from me having it on SoundCloud. So I actually did take it down off of SoundCloud. So if you find Hey Yogscast on SoundCloud, it's not mine. Okay? Unless it's the remastered version. Do we have a SoundCloud? I'm not 100% on that, but it's not me. Anyone on SoundCloud claiming to be me is also not me. There are a lot of people who claim to be me who are not me, which is really weird. I wasn't ready for that. That was bizarre. Like, I went on SoundCloud and I legitimately saw someone say, oh yeah, I'm the artist. I sang Hey Yogscast. And I was like, what is this Twilight Zone? What? Like, that was weird. I wasn't ready for that. With this song that I wrote in 15 minutes, that sounded like crap. Like, just sit back for a second and remember that this song is very out of tune in certain sections, is not great, was recorded on like a trash can iPhone on a piano bench, like before iPhones were a force to be reckoned with in technology, and like with a slightly out of tune guitar that needed new strings as well. And I wasn't very good at singing. I was taking singing lessons at the time, so I was trying to stretch my range, and I wasn't very good at that yet. So just like sit back and understand that with this mediocre song at best, people were like, oh, I'm the singer. Someone went and created a Kit Fox Pup YouTube channel, and that got a ton of comments because Kit Fox Pup was my name on the Yogscast. This is going to be a Hey Yogscast video now, I'm sorry. But so I was Kit Fox Pup on their forum when I used to be a moderator for them. I know, it's surprising. I had a weirdly long-lived life with the Yogscast. But yeah, I used to be a moderator for them on their website, and I was called Kit Fox Pup there. So at the beginning of the video, when it says Kit Fox Pup, aka Monica Pernier, it didn't say Darkovika because that was specifically my YouTube moniker, and I was still using Kit Fox Pup on other locations. I hadn't really fully made the transition from one moniker to the other. It is usually fair to say that on some things, Kit Fox Pup is me. On 90% of things, probably not. Neopets, that's me. The really old, no longer exists Yogscast forum, That's me. At the beginning of the video, that's me. But anywhere else, no. There's a YouTube channel called Kit Fox Pup. That's not me. I think maybe my SoundCloud is Kit Fox Pup, but I think that's where it ends. So to see that was really weird. I really wasn't prepared for it. I was prepared for the hate though, because I knew that the song was not that great. And I remember like when it uploaded, they didn't tell me. Like they had been prepping it and working on it for a couple of months. And I woke up one morning straight up in my pajamas, like trying to figure out like, okay, I'm gonna be going to school. Like I got work later. I was young. I had a job at the time, but I was still kind of like not fully mature yet. I hadn't really figured out how to be an adult. Story of all of our lives, right? No. But yeah, I woke up, sat down, and then got a text message that said, "Love the song. You did great." And I was like, what are you talking about? The song? What song? I was like, what song? And they were like, Hey Yogscast. And I was like, well, how did you hear it? And they were like, it's uploaded. Didn't they tell you? And I was like, uploaded where? And they were like, on the channel. And I was like, what? And I ran over to the Yogscast channel and bam, there's the video just right there. And I was just like, oh my, that was the first time I'd seen the animation. It was the first time I'd seen any of it. And I was just like, floored. I was blown away by the quality of it. I really didn't expect it. The sound was amazing. I still thought I sounded like crap. And it was just really incredible, like wild. I really wasn't expecting it. And of course, at the very beginning of the video, all of the comments were very derogatory, very mean, very cruel. People judging the song. I was ready for it because look, I remember asking them, I was like, do you want a better version of the song? Because that version's not that great. And they were like, no, we love it. Like, it sounds so natural. It sounds just like a real person singing. It doesn't sound overly edited. It doesn't sound like, you know, machines being put on the voice. It's literally just a person singing about something that they care about. We really like that. And I was like, all right, you know, if you want that, but I know how this gonna go. So when it went up, I was ready. And it was a lot of people like, oh, she's really out of tune. She can't sing. She can't play guitar. Her guitar's out of tune. How did this person come up here? My least favorite, it's not a song because it doesn't rhyme. I don't understand. Literally none of my songs will ever rhyme because of this. Like, I don't understand. What is wrong with you people? It doesn't need to rhyme. Rhyming does not a song make. I'm sorry. I still rage over this. It's like 6 years ago, something. I don't even know. But long story short, eventually a lot of people came through like, hey, what's wrong with you? Like, she really went out on a limb here. Like, obviously this was a huge leap for her. Like, that's really incredible that she did this. And I was just like, you people are the best. No, it was really great. And I remember Hannah speaking out about how cruel people were being. Like, how could you guys? Like, she offered to give a better version of the song, and we chose that one because we liked it. We thought that that was the most human version, and I was so touched by that, and I just, you know, really didn't expect it. And that, yeah, they were like really amazing people, and I really appreciate them for giving me that opportunity. And obviously now I no longer have time for any more questions because this just became a Hey Yogscast video. So there you go. But yeah, I really appreciate it. And I'm so glad that I had that experience of that song. And I really think that was the best year for the channel because it was just full of so many exciting moments and some of my favorite memories. And I wish I had done more with all that I had got from that because I was doing stuff on YouTube. I never actually told the Yogscast that I did YouTube. They never knew. I just kind of quietly did the song for them, and I didn't want to be someone who was like, hey, let's do videos together. Like, that's just awkward. Okay, you guys have your own thing to worry about. But at that time, I ended up just feeling like I wasn't good enough, and I ended up quitting YouTube again. It's been a running problem that I've had with the channel, and now look where I am. Glorious hiatus all over again. Y'all remember when I had daily uploads and was dying of stress, but at least I never missed an upload? I was very proud of that. I don't know what I like better, me not uploading at all or me never missing an upload. I don't know. But anyways, yeah, there we go. There's like 5 questions that took up 20 minutes. I'm good at this. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I have literally like 20 more questions to go. So there will be more vlogs of this, potentially in the same outfit, potentially not. We'll see how that goes. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.